What's up, Desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I'm joined by the second place finisher at the 2021 UK Arnold Classic. I'm pleased to welcome Samson Dauda back to Desktop Bodybuilding. Mate, how are you doing after that impressive second place at the UK Arnold Classic?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on because you looked fantastic. Like when you came out, everyone going into the show thought it was Nathan De Asha show and no one would sort of touch him. You were challenging him, man. It came down to a top two call out with you and Nathan, and like it was close. I had you winning some poses as well, and no one thought that would actually happen. How did you feel? I mean, how did you feel going into the contest? How did you feel at the contest after prejudging? And how did you feel going into finals? Did you think you could have actually beaten him?
I mean, coming into the contest and everything else, we sort of knew what the biggest challenge was going to be. We always knew that it was, I mean, we could sort of pay to any way we want. We saw that, okay, it was going to always be Nathan. And, and obviously earlier in the year, meeting with John and everything, and John started working on me. He was like, look, I want to get to the level where by the end of the year, you will be competing with guys that are literally at the top 10 of the Olympia. That one is given that we can get you to that level. So we started working together through the year, and he goes, look, we got to improve your back. We got to do this. And we kind of got it there. And so then obviously when we then came into the prep and coming closer and closer, the idea was, okay, you got the size now, you got the thickness, just hit the condition, no matter what, get the conditioning in. And obviously when I hooked up Milos, he really pushed for that, like seriously pushed for that. And I remember we were kind of like a day out from the show and we had a check-in and he's like, you know what, this is the best I can ever get you. You literally look just on point. And we kind of took that to the stage and you kind of go backstage, you do the pump up, and you come up on the prejudging, and we were like, you know what, no, all or nothing. Don't hold back. Don't ease it in. Go at him, full on. So we kind of did that, and we came off the prejudging, and everybody was like, oh, it's 50-50. It's like that close. It's like, hey. So you kind of just feel like, okay, all right, we're doing this, and you just carry the baton on your head. And, after we obviously go off stage and everything, I went to Steve Weinberger for feedback. And he was like, look, he was literally that close. He goes, I literally had to pose you guys to one of you faded to pick a winner. And he's like, and you kind of said that and go, man, what do you say to that? And when like three judges say the same thing, going that it was so close. At one point, we literally couldn't decide. And he was like, okay, at the end, it was like, okay, just pose them until somebody drops and pick a winner from that, And then at that point, when we've done 3 rounds, I was like, no, I can't keep this up. And I was sweating and I was thinking, yeah, okay, I'm this is it, I mean, this is where Nathan obviously has experience of being on stage for that long and round and round and round. And although you can practice, it's nothing like doing it in real life. So we kind of just took it and say, okay, fair enough. That's what it is. Not disappointed one bit,
Yeah, and man, it was incredible. Like seeing this package, which hopefully you can see on the screen right now. It was a different look. Like obviously last year you went through a lot with, what you went through having to go to, I believe it was Korea and, the 2 weeks in a hotel training, which was absolutely crazy. But this is a different look to that. And maybe partially you would have been better last year if you didn't have to go through, that like hotel quarantine sort of stuff. But this is completely different to what you brought 2 years ago, even without that.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I messaged you after the contest and I said, man, you've arrived. Like, because we sort of talked about that, a couple of years ago and 1.5 years ago. And I said, you're right there. And now you have arrived. That's got to feel pretty good finally to make that,
Man, it really feels good. It really feels good. Like last year, we wanted to really bring a package. And obviously, with everything that then happened, we then end up prepping for so long and body was tired and we're exhausted. And the package we sort of started off the year thinking we were going to bring wasn't what we had in the end. So you kind of think, okay, fair enough. And then this year we sort of like, look, take the whole year to like really improve. Take the whole year. And this is the first time where you didn't have to worry about working full time. You didn't have to worry about a lot of those things, finances and everything. You could really commit fully to bodybuilding. So he's like, okay, let's use that, for the first time, let's truly use that. And this is the package that came out of it. We really kind of focused on got a coach, got everybody behind. And then just this is package I sort of brought to it. So it kind of made me excited because you're thinking, okay, what if we can do this for 1 year, what's another year of the same process going to bring,
Absolutely. So. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And obviously going into the contest, you had some, not only last year, but this year you had, stuff you went through, like obviously the passing of John Meadows, he was coaching you.
Yeah.
The whole industry sort of felt that. Obviously you being coached by John as well. And, that's got to take a massive impact on you. And I saw, the videos and what you said, after that all happened. And to see your routine, man, it was honestly, like, I reckon a lot of people probably watched that and brought a tear to their eye. So I suppose, what did you go through emotionally at the time? And I
Because
suppose, how inspired were you with that routine? Because it was honestly one of my favorite posing routines I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, because what happened, obviously, coming into this year, I really, after what happened last year, I really didn't have much great confidence going into this year. And I was just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to take the year off. You know, I don't want to do this. It doesn't seem like it's really clicking for me. You know, I just don't feel like I could do this anymore. And then obviously, we got my sponsor Fuad said, look, I think you need a coach. You need someone to help you. I think John will be the right person. So we kind of hooked up and we started talking. And John looked at me and he saw the potential immediately. And he was like, man, look, trust me, I can get you there. Just, you are definitely not far off. You're not as bad as you think. You're really very close. So even then, I didn't really take it. I was like, yeah, you know, heard all that before. So through the months and months of working together, every week I'd speak to him with chat, and he was slowly building up my, building up my confidence and telling me, yeah, you're looking great. Spot on, keep going, keep going. And he kind of built all that up. And we got to the end of the off season and started prepping. And he's like, man, you know what? You're gonna shock the world this year. You're gonna shock the world. And slowly I started believing it. I started getting that confidence. I'm thinking, actually, you know what? Yeah, he has a point. Okay, we can do this. And you then hold on to someone that really believes in you. You think, okay, you know what? Even if I don't doubt myself, if someone like John can believe in me, I'm going to do it for him, because he obviously something that I can't see, but I will do it for him. So we kind of went through the prep and everything else. And 8 weeks out, I remember speaking to him that Saturday. And he was saying, man, I can't wait to get on stage. It's so exciting, wow, you're going to be something. And then I was like, yeah, thanks, John. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. And then the next Sunday, the next day, I didn't even know. I just got messages flooding in saying, oh, sorry for your loss. And I'm thinking, what are you all talking about? What are you talking about? So as soon as I opened Instagram, I saw that and it just crushed me. I literally just felt like, I felt devastated about it. I was like, no, this can't be. Why? Like, really, why? And after that, I was like, you know what, when we finally got it together, I was like, you know what, I can't continue this. I just don't feel like I want to continue this. And then obviously we kind of had loads of messages, people saying, look, you and John's been working on it. He wanted to bring you to the stage. Do it for him. Carry on doing. Just because he's here, he's still watching you, just do it for him. So we kind of, okay, I said, look, if I have to do this, I need somebody to help me that knows John, knows his method, and can work off that. And I remember John always said he spoke about Milos, spoke to Milos about what we were doing and everything else. So I reached out to Milos and I said, look, John always spoke highly about you. This is where we are. Do you think you can help? And he basically jumped on me straight away and said, yep, let's do this. Let's do this for John together. Let's go at it. And right at that point, we just started working and we just started pushing and getting it happening, and to be on that stage, coming into that point, I remember coming into, and we were thinking, oh, it's Arnold Classic. You got to do a routine that really shows that really can bring that, do something really homage to someone who's helped you so much this year. So I remember one point I was walking my dog and I remember someone messaged me going, you know that John did a podcast about you from that podcast. So I was like, no. And I listened to it and that was his voice that I put on the speech and what he was saying at that podcast where he was saying, look, I got this guy, Samson from the UK. I'm working with him for the Arnold Classic. And he's going to shock people, man. He looks like a beast. He's going to shock people. And he's going to qualify for the 2022 Olympia. He's really going to shock people. And I saw that and literally, I just burst out crying. And I'm thinking, you know what, and it just hit me at that point. And I was like, I think a lot of people would hear that. I think a lot of people need to hear that in the biggest place possible. So I was like, the Arnold, you're doing an Arnold. This is the point, So from that point on, the idea just came to me. I know exactly what I'm going to do for a routine. So we got the right music, mixed it up together and go. Now, as soon as I had the music, I didn't even have the routine. I had the music. And every single time I tried, I've only practiced that routine twice.
Really?
Every single time, yeah. Every single time I try to practice that routine, I just burst out crying. And I'm like, dude, just get it together. And literally every time I'm like, I can't. So I sort of run the routine in my head over and over and over again. But physically, I couldn't actually listen to it and try to practice that routine because every time I do it, it just sends me emotional. And I'm like, okay. So coming to the show, I knew what I was doing. I practiced it twice, but I knew what I was doing. So when it came out and everything else, I was like, you know what? Show that emotion. Don't try to mask it. Don't try to flow through it. Just show it to the world and show what John meant to you. Show everything as it is. So that's what we basically came up and brought up on stage, and that's what happened.
Man, it was incredible. Like it was. like you could see the emotion. Like I was wondering as well when you were doing it, when you were down on the ground before you sort of got up and did that sort of spin and then went into a pose.
Yeah.
Was it meant to be that long, or was that just like you overcome with emotion?
I knew that was the speech part, and I thought, you know what, you want people to hear that. He
Yeah.
can't be posing while he's talking. So I thought, okay, come to the ground, just wait and let him hear, and then carry on this thing. But obviously, coming down to the ground, I'm listening to it myself, and I literally feel like at that moment, especially after prejudging, at that moment, I'm thinking the words he's saying right there portrays what is happening right this very minute, and it just broke me. And I'm standing, thinking, oh my God, John, look, we're here. This is it. We're here. And, you know, and it just really, it just felt like, it felt surreal. And you're looking at it, you're thinking, at this moment, this is what the world is seeing, what you said, what you visualized, this is what's happening right in front of them. And they're hearing it happen, you know, and it just kind of just came together at that point. And he's like, okay. And I think that's a routine I would never do again. You just never, I just think, you know what, it captivated perfectly. And I feel like, you know what, I'll remember that part forever, and I never want to mix it up. I really wanted to just be that, and that moment to be precious to me, and just stay at that, you know.
Yeah. Man, it was something special. It's like I think about all the amazing posing routines over time. You got like the Kai Green Dirty Diana, then you got obviously what you did. You got the Vince Taylor like Terminator routine.
Yeah.
I think yours stands right there. It's like it
Oh,
was.
thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. You know, I always look up to all them guys and everything else, and I've always learned posing from like Sean Ray, the Vince Taylor, you know, all them Kai Greens and everything else, and I've always kind of watched them through the time to kind of put posings together, and you know, it really does mean a lot, seriously.
Yeah, and then obviously, like you said, you started working with Milos. Is that going to be something you continue in the future as well?
Yes, it is. It is. I mean,
Awesome.
Milos came in, and he was. I mean, I honestly, I've learned from him more than I could ever imagine. Like the way he works, especially knowing that he competed with guys in the 90s. He looked at me and goes, look, I've competed with guys like you. I've gone through an era with guys like you. I know what they had to do to get inside. I know what that round responsibility is, that look, what it means to bring it on stage. And he basically just clicked on, and I was like, okay. And he really taught me every single step away, okay, this is what you do. And he breaks it down right before he does it. Okay, this is the idea of what I want you to do. And he goes, okay, I'm going to shrink your food to the point where you can't eat anything. There's literally nothing left.
Man, I saw you eating like, it looked like you was eating 2 eggs or something on a plate.
Yeah, 3 eggs for breakfast. And after 50 to an hour cardio, you then have 2 eggs and then 3 eggs. And then you're like, man, what the hell? And then you look at the sweet potato and he's giving you like 80 grams of sweet potato. And you're looking going, dude, this is like 1 fork. Like, and he's telling me, trust me, you will not lose anymore. So don't get into effort. You won't lose. You'll be fine. We have to tighten you up to the point that once you're tight as anything and we fill you out, you're going to look like a balloon on stage, but you still stay hard and dry. So I was like, okay, you know what? I trust you, man. Just do what you got to do. So we stuck through it. And as we're doing it, you're looking at it going, wow, he's spot on this. Like, so we still the week. And you know, when you're coming in closer to the show, you're looking going, I've never looked like this before. And to be this big and look like this is just unbelievable. Like, you know, seriously. And it really just clicked with me. And for me, I just think, you know what, yeah, we found a coach that we mix. We just gel. You know, we have the same vision in mind of what we want to bring stage. You know, Milos is like, no, get your abs tighter. I'm like, dude, I got abs all year round. He's like, no. I want it deep. I want that separation. I want it really deep. I want the muscles pushing against the skin. I was like, okay, go do abs every day. Do this. I was like, damn, okay. So we did that. We practiced back in. We did everything, and just to make sure that everything is exactly as like your quads. I want it to be completely, deeply separated. Everything, you know. So he brought back that the way they did things in the 90s and early 20s. I mean, the early 2000s. He basically brought that approach of, okay, focus on the detail, that's lines and symmetry and the beauty of bodybuilding. Focus on that and bring that to the stage, you know. And that's basically what just happened. And he just clicked. And from this point on, I think, yeah, definitely the coach for me.
Yeah, awesome. He's definitely a good coach, man. He has a great track record, and people forget it as well. Like all those guys he worked with in the early 2000s. I remember his gym, Coliseum Gym, in Fullerton, California. Like he had everyone going through there, man. Like I used to watch those like things on bodybuilding.com of him, like with all the giant sets and all that sort of stuff. And he definitely knows his stuff, man. Because a lot of guys,
that's definitely true.
Yeah. Do you know how many Olympia points you actually got for getting second to that show?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. You know, I'm like you said, like because obviously with 2020, we were coming to the idea that we wanted to compete in the States, you know, and obviously the whole thing happened. And this year it hasn't been easy to even try to pick a show to do in the States without having to go somewhere to quarantine. So we know with bodybuilding, it's almost like you have to, as much as Europe is got bodybuilding, and you have to still stand in the States to do something to make it stand out. So it's like, we know this year, we have to do as many shows we can, now that to win a show, get enough points, and then we can come to the States next year, regardless of what happens. Yeah. So I think that's basically what we want to make sure we do. So I don't know how many points we have, but we got more shows planned up for this year. And if not, I will compete in the early part of next year just to make sure that John's words come through and I am on that 2020 Olympia stage next year.
Man, I love that. That's awesome. It looks like your dog's right behind you as well, saying hello.
Yeah. Attention-seeking buddy.
Man, I have a neighbour's dog barking outside, so he's way better behaved. But man, what's next? You mentioned about doing more shows. Are you going to do the whole post-Olympia European shows, all of those, or just some?
Yes, yeah. You know, with me, like, I always like the idea of to do multiple shows, not just for the idea of actually being on stage and getting experience of it, but, you know, it gives us a chance to learn about my body. You know, Milos, this is the first show he's ever prepped me and actually got me on stage too. So if anything, it will be an opportunity for us to both learn, okay, how do you respond to this? How do you respond? Is there, you know, try different things and kind of learn about it now. So when it does come to time for us to get to a grand stage, like either the Arnold or the Olympia, it's like, okay, we know already. We know how your body responds. We know what you're like, so we can then manipulate. We're coming off experience at that point, and not just, oh, we nailed it one time, and then since then we're hoping we do it the same again, and it doesn't click. So we want to learn as much as we can, working together, and get that experience in. So yeah, I will be doing. I think next show is in Italy in 2 weeks' time after the Olympia, so it's going to be a really stacked lineup. So we'll be doing that. And then we just kind of move on from there and just, you know, hit as many shows as we can, as many shows my buddies allows me to do without me trying to look tired and wearing out. So we're just going to do as much as we can and then call it a rest. And then hopefully we have enough to then have a whole year to have an off season again, to try to improve again for the Olympia.
Yeah, well, man, you definitely made an impact at this show. You could have walked off like with the win. Honestly, I don't think anyone would have complained too much. Like, you know, Nathan had a few poses, you had a few poses. It was tough, and it was, you know, not the easiest to tell in that sort of lighting because it was a little bit shadowed and whatnot. Yeah. But like one last question before I let you go. Yeah, how do you think you compared to Nathan in terms of like which poses did you have yourself winning and which ones I suppose did you have Nathan winning?
Honestly, I think front double bicep was close. I mean, for front double, I think it was definitely close. I don't know. I mean, I think it comes down, front double will probably come down to preference, you know, totally. Which one you prefer. Front lat spread, I definitely give it to Nathan because I know he's got a freaking phenomenal front lat spread. I can't even argue with that. I'm like, okay. Even coming to the show, I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna argue with that. Side chest, another one that I'm thinking, okay, this one we got almost the same pros and the same cons when it comes to the side chest. So that one is basically, it's another toss-up. It's like, okay, which one, who looks more conditioned, who looks more tight in the legs, to the chest, to everything else, you know. Back double was the first pose for the first time. I came off stage and everybody goes, dude, you're beating in a back double. You're beating him. I was like, are you serious? This is the one of my weekend. And everyone was like, no. You know, the same like the front lats, but I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. You know, side tricep. The thing is, our physique is so similar that most of the poses is you just have to look at and go, which one do you prefer? Yep. You know, and it comes to, you know, and you know, as much as you can feel like, oh, what, but I actually think, you know, that's a very compliment because we all know where Nathan ranks in the world. So if you can stand toe to toe with him and people go, wow, this is a hard show to pick pose for pose. If you can do that with Nathan, with everybody else, what would that be like? Yeah. You know, well, man. So you got to kind of take that.
If Nathan's in the Olympia, like I was going to pick him top 6. Like I thought he was awesome in the show, the UK one. I thought he was awesome when he beat Rolly, just maybe a tiny bit fuller, but maybe not quite as hard. So like I think that package was sort of terrible. And he beat, and I said it to you. I said he beat Rolly Winkler. I said the package you brought would have beaten that version of Rolly Winkler, definitely. Like that's just the way it is, and it seems like you have a chance to compete against Rolly as well. So that's like. You have the chance to beat some all-star names, man. So keep doing what you're doing because it's definitely working.
Yeah, so I mean, if you know, if Rolly hasn't massively improved between last show and the Olympia, and you know, and everything else, and we'll see. That's one possibility, and obviously you got all the other guys as well. So I'm now, you know, when you're really curious to say, okay, what if we brought the same package against other guys? What would then happen now? So I'm curious to see that, and I'm excited to actually see that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, definitely.
Yeah, man, cannot wait to see it. Now, do you have some sponsors you want to thank before we wrap up this interview?
Yes. First and foremost, always I want to thank Hostile. You know, without them, honestly, this year I would never be able to bring the package I brought to stage. They gave me a possibility to make bodybuilding my lifestyle and make bodybuilding everything to me, and made it what I always dreamed for it to be a pro. Fuad, Summer, they have been absolutely brilliant with me right from the start. They believed in me right from the get-go. Even when I doubted myself, they really stood behind me. So I truly want to thank them. Want to thank Milos, my lady. She has gone through everything with me, you know, the downs, the ups, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. She stuck it out every step of the way. And I don't know if most of you knows, she's hands-on in this process, you
It was
know.
awesome, man.
I mean, Milos speaks to her, and you know, he speaks to her to find out how I'm doing through the week, to find out information about me. And they both put their heads together to come up things for what I'll do next. So this is how close she is in the whole process. So I gotta thank her. And you know, most importantly, man, John, whoever you are right now, seriously, thank you. Thank you so much. You really, really, you know, I genuinely can't thank you enough for everything you've done. And what you said, you know, is coming to pass. And, you know, John, it means a lot. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's it was such a great tribute that you gave to John and everything that you did, man. Like, you represented as best as you could at that contest, and you honestly put yourself as, you know, one of those potentially top 10 guys in the world going forward in terms of next year in the 2022 Mr. Olympia, if you're able to make it there. But I think you definitely will, and I cannot wait to see how you do in 2 weeks' time at that show in, where was it? Italy, was it? Or
Italy is in Rome, Italy. So right there, and it's a Roman domination. So yeah, definitely it's going to be one hell of a show in Rome.
awesome. Can't wait to see it, man. So for Xavier Wills and Samson Dauda, your second place finisher at the 2021 UK Arnold Classic, we are out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on desktop bodybuilding. I encourage you to head over to Desktop Bodybuilding Clips, which has the smaller, shorter clips and the best parts from all these interviews and podcasts. So make sure you head over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell button. It really helps me be able to do what I want to do on this channel as well. So it's much appreciated if you guys can do that. Also, if you like this video and this type of content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.